It's Tuesday. You know what that means. It's Wednesday. You know what we
It's
about to
Tuesday.
do. It's Thursday. You know what's coming.
You might as well just
All
keep
the
going
rest of
every
them
day of the
days.
week. Listen to
No,
me.
only the rest of
All
them
the,
days.
that's
Every other
definitely
day
true
is
though. It's
Brian
definitely all
H.
the rest of
Willis.
rum days.
Yeah. Brian takes
Definitely
up
all
the
the
other
rum days.
days of the
But
week.
mhm,
Because you're like,
yeah,
oh,
he definitely
what day
fills
is
in the
it?
gaps.
Yeah, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. You
You have
got you.
particular
Don't
days,
do what?
Brian H, or you just whenever you rocking and rolling.
You said what?
You have particular days you just drop your shows,
No, man.
just whenever
I
you got it going.
yeah. I had an
Okay.
idea for a show, but then I started feeling like I had a lot of stuff to do, and I
Hmm.
said it ain't gonna have the necessary shabazz that it's supposed to hear over here, and I said no, I can't do it.
Mm,
Okay. Well,
mm.
of course, it is Wednesday and the red light is on, and things are heating up as we make our way to WWE's debut PLE Wrestlepalooza on ESPN. But on that road to Wrestlepalooza, last week we talked about Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch running WWE. Well, it seems that that has been officially challenged because AJ Lee has made her triumphant return to WWE, and her first in-ring appearance has officially been announced, where AJ Lee and CM Punk will take on Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch. So we are going to take a look back at AJ Lee's long-awaited return to WWE in the ring. What can we expect? What are we going for? And what will happen? All that and more right after this. Let's get it.
Houston, we have a problem.
What you gonna do? 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 What you gonna do?
Welcome to the Wrestle Realm Now podcast, where we take a deeper dive into the world of professional wrestling. Now, I am your host, the big fella, the realness himself, the real Dwayne Allen, and he is your host, Mr. Super Producer, Brother Hugh, A to the A to the S, T to the A to the E, 3 to the D, who will be in the building at some point, and he is your host, not just any guy, but the Belt King, Brandon the Guy will be, or should I say, is in the building, and he is your host. Brian, he looks so confused, and he is your host, the man, the myth, the legend, the heart and soul, the founder, and yet still a heel in 2025.
Hollywood!
Brian H. Waters is in the building, and welcome to another edition of the Wrestling Realm Now podcast. Good brothers, how's everybody feeling? We're back for another week of pro wrestling, superior wrestling, intellect, and conversation. How's everybody feeling today?
I
Good
don't like it.
man.
I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I don't like it.
What what does
I
what
don't
do you
like
mean?
it. I don't like it.
What
My
don't
tag team partner isn't here. I don't like it. It just don't
oh
feel
boy.
right.
Oh,
It
trust
don't
me.
feel right.
We're gonna get you into it. That means we're gonna get you into a tizzy, so you're going like 30-minute rants. That's I can't wait.
Right. He's not here. I don't have nobody to hot tag. I don't have nobody because he be holding the court saying, come on, tag
Right.
me
It
in.
needs no one's here to call Brian H. a Gump or anything like that, because I'm not gonna do that. That's
Right.
Brother Hughes thing. Hold on one
Right.
second. So once again, like I said, sorry, I lost my train of thought. We are here, another edition of
Did
the
you just
show.
I was
pose?
like,
Bro, I
He
had to
just
pause for a
posed. He
second.
said,
Excuse me.
uh,
this is why everybody should be watching this on video. And if you got
yes.
Spotify, god dang it, if you're listening to it on podcast platforms, you should be using Spotify because you can watch the video on the Spotify app too. And you can see the real Dwayne Allen hit the people with a 10-second pose.
It definitely was. It
For
was it
flash
was straight.
photography.
It
You
was
can
straight
screenshot
edge and
this.
Christian. It was straight Cope and Cage.
Oh
Oh
gosh.
God.
Oh my goodness. But we are here for another episode. Once again, we're on our way to WrestlePalooza, and it's not officially time for our WrestlePalooza preview show. It's not there yet. But like I said, last week we spent all this time talking about how Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch are running WWE, but AJ Lee has returned, and we are going to spend this entire episode of the Wrestling Round Now podcast talking about what can we expect from AJ Lee. She has not aged. What do we remember the most about her? Let's talk about how her crazy is her superpower and all the great things that she has brought to the ring. She was one of the predecessors, one of the pioneers of what will become the women's revolution.
Let's talk about it.
And just all there's something that I've noticed, and I'm not going to talk about it now because we're going to get into it a little bit later, but there's something I've noticed that's been going on lately, and I'm curious to see if the brothers will recognize this as well. But with that being said, listen, let's not waste any time. Let's just jump right into the show. So, of course, usually I jump into one segment, and then usually I jump into another segment. But you know what? We're just going to ask our our co-hosts, Apollo Creed and Rocky Balboa, to ceremoniously ring the bell for us so we can get this show started. So, gentlemen, could you do us the solid and help us start the show by ringing the bell for us, please?
Want to ring the bell?
Ding, ding.
Every week on the Wrestling Realm Now podcast, we do a segment called What Did You Watch? Where the brothers discuss all the pro wrestling they consume throughout the week to get themselves in the space to talk about all the superior wrestling intellect and conversation that we do on Wednesdays. So without further ado, gentlemen, it is time for us to ask the $1 million question. Of course, is what did you watch? Brought to you by our good friends at SeatGeek. If you're looking to purchase tickets to concerts, live shows, sporting events, and more, head over to SeatGeek.com where you can use our promo code Wrestling Realm for any one-time purchase of $50 or more. That's promo code Wrestling Realm on any one-time purchase of $50 or more. Good brothers, what did you watch? So, good brothers, who wants to go first? What do we get into this week as far as pro wrestling is concerned? What do we consume to get ourselves in a space to have this conversation about AJ Lee and her impending return to the WWE in a WWE ring? Now, something I don't think anybody expected to see anytime soon, but guess what, brothers? We are here. What did you guys watch?
Honestly, I watched a really good episode of NXT. An episode that took us back and really showed the love that was the black and gold ending into the colorful era. When you think about Rhea Ripley and Stephanie Barker and Tiffany Stratton, and you think about Trick and Mellow Gang coming back down, and well, I should say Mellow coming back down, obviously DIY them too. But
Bro, don't do
seeing all
that. Don't do that. You can't say DIY with the little small voice. I noticed you did that. That's not
DIY.
okay.
DIY is fun when they're going against each other. When they're teaming up, it's just, it's like, but
I don't disagree with you, though.
I do like them going against Trick and Mellow, but I need them to like get involved and break up again. You know what it is too? Because when I was watching all of this and I was having this I want to call it, and I'm going to make this up, the post-indie revelation of NXT, right? Because now we're talking at a time where AEW's around.
Right.
We're talking at a time where it's not the place where we didn't think people such as your Kevin Owens, your Adam Cole's, your Sami Zayn's couldn't make WWE, but we finally got them. That was that era. We're into the next wave of things, right?
Yeah.
And we're at the cross of, I would say, the next level of indie guys. Like you take like a Christian Casanova, right? He didn't have the same buzz that a Johnny Gargano had, but then once we got introduced to it, it's like, oh, okay, so this guy, you go back and watch, this guy been working, and now he's getting more shine on him, right? That's the era that a lot of people are always going to talk about, the black and gold era, let's call it the WWE Network era of NXT.
Okay.
but they're not going to talk about the network transition in the television era. So when I saw that, I was loving the love that it was getting. And I tell you what it did.
Mhm.
It transitioned and made me excited for what we're going to talk about tonight, AJ Lee. Because what I saw was AJ Lee having more dance partners.
Oh
I
yeah.
saw dream matches. Obviously, I mean, it goes without saying, the match with her wrestling daughter. Y'all know I've been waiting for that ever since there was even a pinch of a hint. When the moment that Roxanne started like irritating CM Punk, right? I said, okay, eventually I want to get that match. And if I don't, I will feel the same way I feel that I'm never going to get Sarah Del Rey versus Natalia, right? And I've come to grips with that. I've understood it. It's fine. But I'm like, I'm actually going to get this match. But it just gave me such an appreciation, and just an appreciation for NXT, because it's a different show. But like I always say, the best booker in the wrestling business right now is none other than Mr. Doodoo Pants wearing himself, HBK.
That's such a backwards compliment. See, I was just about to hype you up, like, man, you've come such a long way.
Blame Brother
Remember,
Hugh,
you
because he put that in the
he
in the
did.
group chat.
I'm like, why would you bring that up? Doo-doo pants Shawn Michaels. You used to hate Shawn Michaels, and now you give him so much credit, but then you say something about doo-doo pants Shawn Michaels. That's
I was
terrible.
sitting right here, man, and the man asked me about my day, and I appreciate it.
That's all it took. Such a cheap date. Such a
No,
cheap date.
but
That's
see,
all
I
it took.
appreciate what he's giving me on television every week. I mean, I'm getting it's like all the ingredients of a favorite, like for favorite wrestlers. You know what I mean? He's giving men people to thirst over. He's giving women people to thirst over. He's giving appetites for great matches, appetites for great storytelling, and he's not trying to go above his lane, right? It reminds me of the ROH that I fell in love with briefly. Not gonna say I was in love with it for a long time. That's not fair to say. But it reminds me of the ROH I fell in love with in 2012, the whole year of 2012, when it didn't try to go above its means. You know what I mean? It stayed right there where it's at. And that's when we was out networking. Shout out to my guy, Lee Champion, when I would talk to him, because he was not a WWE guy. But I would learn about the ROH pre-Sinclair broadcast. And just being there, and shout out to my man John Murray, where we would talk at those shows, and he said I was telling him about the backstory of the people like your Kevin Steens, your Jim Cornettes. Like, that was great television for us, and that's what I'm getting with NXT right now, and I'm loving it.
I was with him, brother guy, until you said do the pants Shawn Michaels, but it's okay. You know who was booking Ring of Honor during that time? A portion of that time. Do you know who the booker was during that time, Brian H?
Was it Hunter? I mean,
little fun fact.
Delirious.
It was Delirious.
That's what
do you know who's booked?
Accidentally said Hunter. Then take you back to my interview.
I was about to say, do you remember who the booker was before Delirious? Right before that era?
Dave Sapolsky?
Nope.
Oh.
Adam Pearce.
Man.
Yeah. Little fun fact for you. Yep. Little fun fact. See that? Adam Pearce. Mm-hmm. I always wonder what Adam Pearce does besides being on air talent the whole time. He's an agent. Didn't realize that. Him and Nick Aldis.
It's funny. Me and PR was just talking about this, about how Adam Pearce can just go to that level.
He's good.
And he's so good. And I was telling her about those days, and I said, you would always talk about how much you was a fan of his.
Scrap iron.
And I really want that match of him and Nick Aldis. I think that could add, for wrestling fans, right? That could give us a little juice in the Survivor Series. Survivor Series has lost its juice, right? The War Games has added something to it.
Sure.
But I think because that gives us what we loved at one point when they was mixing in the bragging rights along with the traditional Survivor Series matches, right? And I've sat, me and Brother Hugh in Nashville, talked with Corey Graves about it, and he was saying, him and Pat McAfee at the time, and he said, look, people just want to see me get my butt kicked. He said, I'd go in there for 5 minutes, get kicked around. But I think with Aldis and Pierce, I could understand 1,000% why they would not want to do it. because it's like, bro, you making all this money and not having to take a bump. Like at the end of the day, it still worked for them. You feel me? And
Sure.
they was NWA World Champions, right? And a lot of people can't say that. So, but I'm like, for the wrestler fan, man, that would be so much fun.
Yeah, I think so. I don't think people remember those. I mean, you got to be a hardcore fan to remember. Maybe not so much Nick, though. Nick Aldis was kind of more of somebody people knew versus Adam Pearce was a deep cut guy.
But just think about the aesthetic of it. Just on the aesthetic alone, this is the
Sure.
first time two GMs look like they can go that aren't former WWE champions at all, right?
Sure.
When
Yeah.
you think about, like, it's not Daniel Bryan versus Mick Foley or
Mhm.
Shane McMahon and Stephanie or whomever, right? It's
Right.
literally like, if you're not a wrestler, if you wasn't a fan of that, but you're being presented the product right here and there, you're saying, oh, those two look like they can go at it. I could do it. Like, it on paper. You don't even have to go into that backstory if you don't want to.
Right. That makes sense. When you look at both Adam Pearce and Nick Aldis, they have also big personalities, and it's like the only problem you're gonna have with that is you're gonna have all the other producers like, well, wait a minute, why can't we be involved? So now you're gonna have a Survivor Series match with all the producers backstage. Like, okay, you be Raw, and then you be SmackDown, you be NXT, and then we'll go from there. Everybody's gonna have a piece of it because Jamie Noble's gonna get a piece of it.
Bro, hold on. You just booked something.
Mhm.
The Content King, right?
Yep.
What did they just do? They just signed this deal with ESPN.
They
They're going to
did.
want some individual content. You feel me?
True.
Or Netflix is going to want some individual content.
Mhm,
That's what I personally like to call a low risk, high reward. You book it, you can make that exclusive for the app.
I mean, you did it with Patterson and Briscoe, and it was like one of the highest rated segments because it was two former wrestlers that had no business getting in the ring. Patterson and Briscoe versus the Mean Street Posse, and it's went down in history as like one of the highest rated segments in WWE history. Just
Because we
simply
wanted to
because
see the fight.
we knew those guys were old wrestlers. Like, and you knew Mean Street Posse couldn't wrestle, but who knows? Okay, you might have been on to something special. How about
That's
you,
all
brother
the
guy?
free ideas WWE getting from me today.
There you go. Because they watch. Paul's watching. So
We won Prototype. Walk off, baby. Dylan Beavers. Call him an Earl Weaver special.
brother guy, he's talking about baseball. He's talking about sports.
Oh, I know. That's
No,
why.
that's cool. I didn't know because you were
listen.
looking off like I'm
Like
I'm
my
not
cup,
sure
though?
who these names are. I mean, listen, you got a lot of proud
That's a
Orioles
Cal
action.
Ripken. Yeah, that's a
Dope.
Cal Ripken. Sorry. I know that.
How about you, brother guy? Before you start saying more sports things, what did you watch this week, sir?
Don't say quit while you're
So-
ahead. Or
He said Cal Ripken. He went back like 30 years. Dating
Yeah, because
ourselves.
that's what that clip was from.
You took us back to elementary
It's
school.
consecutive. Yeah, pretty much. So mine is actually, of course, tied into championship culture because I see when I go on all these social medias, I see a lot of people. I personally hate. Oh, this person needs to come to the main roster. Call them up. Call them up. Call them up. And then they get called up, and there's nothing happening.
Carmelo Hayes.
And bingo. And so now we had NXT Homecoming, and it was like what made me go back and say, "Yep, I was on the right track." When Tiffany Stratton came out, the WWE Women's Champion,
Mhm.
and it was like I forgot she was the champion.
Yep.
In my mind, but it was I went down a rabbit hole because the rabbit hole led to because of championship culture. We always talk about who wore it better, right?
Yep.
But we just recently did a show called One Hit Wonders.
Mhm.
So all three of these things tied into me going down this rabbit hole of the NXT Championship. We can call it the NXT World Championship. We can call it the NXT Men's Championship. I'm talking about NXT's main title for the men, right? And the list reads a bunch of one-hit wonders for that title.
Okay.
And it's crazy because when I went back and watched some of these, and I'm saying to myself, for instance, who doesn't remember Lucky Number 13 with Aleister Black? That was the
Mhm.
whole gimmick. Nobody really knew who he was. They introduced Aleister Black to us, rose to fame. He became the champion. That moment was special. Went to AEW, Aleister Black, okay, cool. He's back now. You're like, all right, so something's not clicking. Then you go down the line and you just keep looking for people. You go to Andrade Cien Almas, who literally had to find himself in NXT from his career and I just saw his career in IWGP and around the world,
Yeah,
right?
that's the Sombra.
His career, yep. He came, he found his footing. Selena was with him. I think that was some of the best work they did as a pair,
The
together.
pants he wore too. His gear after his NXT run was absolutely terrible. Well, after his first WWE run, it's absolutely terrible. It's got to slide that in there.
But remember how everything, the entrances felt big, everything felt major, right?
Mhm.
And Andrade has these glimpses when he's on screen. It's like he reminds you, I can do this thing called wrestling, right? And then it's like, never mind, put him on the shelf. You did too much. Go sit down. Don't do that
Remember
again.
that? Remember that random ladder match he had with Buddy Matthew that owns like a match of the year candidate on a random AEW Dynamite. I don't even know
You,
why they had a ladder
you,
match in the first
it was
place,
just,
but I was like,
oh, it
God
was on
dang,
Collision, wasn't it? I think it
it
was
was
on Collision.
something.
So it was like,
It was
why
a
did you do
Saturday or
this?
something. It was like,
It was
good
the first
God,
match. And we're like, why would you do that on a
like
Saturday? I feel like
bro,
I robbed you because it was
you
so
know,
good.
other matches got to come after this, right?
Right. Somebody else want to do something.
Wow.
But then
Mhm.
as I'm going down, because I want to answer the question, who wore it better, right?
Mhm.
But it sent me down more and more. And then I start seeing Bobby Roode, his
Wow.
rise, and his feud with Shinsuke. We knew Shinsuke English wasn't as great as it could be at that
Sure.
time.
Mhm.
And Bobby Roode helped that feud so much that it was like, wow, they're actual rivals. And then you get to this point where you start to remember Big E's title run is
Thank you.
when, yes, we could say it's because Seth got called up, but then we all forgot because he got called up too.
Yep.
But
He
that
was on
started the whole
Undisputed.
Bo Lee thing. Yeah, and it was
Right.
like, nope, we need you full time. Get up here. But that
Worst
started the
NXT
whole Bo
champion in
Lee thing.
history.
The second, which was like, yep, you talking about transitional. But
Mm.
all of these things, and it was like everybody's clamoring for people to go to the main roster.
Mhm.
But look at Julia on SmackDown versus Julia in NXT.
Sure.
So you want all these people to go because Tommaso Ciampa made his return. And it was such a big deal, but we remember his NXT stuff because you remember those title reigns. And yes, plagued with injury, he came back, and he was a transition. He was literally the transitional guy to the color splatter, right?
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
and it was like a changing of the guard. But I was going down this rabbit hole. I was like, NXT really gave us a lot of one hit wonders that call them to the main roster, call them to the main roster. And out of all of the 25 people that's held the title,
Mhm.
how many of them you really remember on the main roster? We always go back to that NXT reign.
Drew
So
McIntyre,
keep going,
Samoa Joe,
keep going, keep going.
Big E.
Carrying Cross.
Nah.
You
See,
remember
I
his
don't.
NXT run because of two reasons: Adam Cole and Keith Lee.
That's not a good thing, though. Like the reason
But
why
you
you
remember it.
remember, but
But I mean, you remember it.
it was he was one of my favorites towards the end of it. Like he was to me, he was the last of the black and gold era. It was like him and Samoa Joe, and up to that point, I thought that was his best match, his best feud he ever had. And then literally that following week, it was like 2.0, and Samoa Joe relinquished the title. It was like, all right, I'm giving it up.
He was like, "What the
Remember,
heck
and I
just
was like,
happened?"
wait, what? I'm like, no, Samoa Joe,
Hmm.
you supposed to have a Finn Balor like run. Whereas, if you're trying to take time off, but instead of taking time off, you go to NXT and you win, you dominate, you get your mojo back. And nope, he was gone in commentary and then AEW. So
And
I'm
that's
trying to
why I
figure out
think
why
that
he doesn't get injured in AEW, but he always gets injured in WWE. But go ahead, brother. I'm
isn't that
sorry.
crazy? No, you're
Miles,
okay. And that's where my rabbit hole came for the whole NXT championship. And I felt myself bouncing around. But I bounced around because I'm trying to figure out why are we as wrestling fans
Mhm.
so quick for somebody to get called up to do nothing? Yes, I hear the argument about the more money, the more possibilities. But if you look at the NXT stars when they were there,
Mhm.
there's very few that translated into superstardom. But if they go back, they could still have a fruitful career, but also be good for the business. Because let's call it what it is. When
Carmelo
Dolph
Hayes.
Ziggler went to NXT, look what happened when Dolph Ziggler went to NXT and won the championship. More people was paying attention because
I
it was
sure think
like,
was.
hmm
I was
if you
guilty of it.
think about it, when you do you really remember Kevin Owens at NXT? No, because he surpassed that because
There
it
you
was an
go. Yeah.
indie federation at the time. But
Mhm.
now, if they don't even mention that he's a former NXT champion, they will say United States or Intercontinental
He's
champion
done so much.
before
Yeah.
they say that. Like even Shinsuke, they we'll say United States champion or Intercontinental champion because of what he's did for that title, not necessarily his main roster run, but he's had more success in the mainstream with that. But
Sami
remember, at
Zayn.
one point, exactly, it's very few.
Yeah.
But you got people like Ethan Page who came in with a bang. It's
Mhm.
still relevant. Look what he's doing with the North American title. But
Yeah.
we so quick to say, "Oh, get him on the main roster. Get Ricky
No.
Starks to the main roster.
No.
Get Obafemi to the main roster. Get
No.
Trick Williams to the main roster."
Mm-mm.
What's wrong with them staying there and keep not necessarily being flag bearers, but nobody but Samoa Joe has a 3-time title run. But you got John Cena with 17, the next closest person, Randy and Triple H. Yes, they came over time, but why can't we have a 3 or 4-time NXT champion? Samoa Joe by default, because he was there 3 different times.
Mhm.
You get what I'm saying? Like, it's
Oh,
what's the
yeah.
harm in a Trick Williams would have been 2 or 3. Well, he's 2 now, a 3 or 4-time NXT champion. But everybody keeps on get him to the main roster for what?
To
What
do
is he
what?
gonna do? Go be Intercontinental champion? No, because that's locked in. Is he
Mhm.
going to be on main event? Because look who's on main event: Fraxium and the Motor City Machine Guns. They were on main event. You
I
like that
forgot about
reference,
the event.
Rollins?
Nah, that was a good one.
Exactly.
That's
But
what the tag. If you want to see tag team wrestling in WWE, watch main event.
Well, I've been trying to tell y'all for the past couple of weeks, man. And you sit back and you look at it, and I keep trying to tell y'all that Shawn Michaels is the best booker and Triple H sucks.
No, I ain't gonna go that far.
I will say that.
Yeah.
I mean, and Brandon just proved all my point. Everything
But
brother Brandon was
You can't say Triple H sucks though, because goodness
as a
gracious,
booker,
Clash
he's not great.
Clash in Paris was
He's
excellent.
not great at.
He booked WrestleMania 41.
41.
So,
Yippee.
so I'm gonna wrap all this up and say it's hard to say who wore better because at different eras people wore better. You know what I
That's
mean? Like
that's
right now,
yeah. That's kind of
what
the
is
problem.
everybody was remember? I went on record as saying Obafemi's problem was he was in triple threat matches, right? They
Sure.
got him out of triple threat matches. Trick Williams is more important than him with a title that's not even for the company.
Yeah.
But
God
a
dang
few
it.
months ago,
Yeah.
it
Truth
was
hurts
over, right?
sometimes.
But now they went,
Sure.
oh, get over to the main roster. Why? It's other stuff he can do. It's other stuff. He can be the champion and he can do what Seth Rollins or well, Cody Rhodes is absent right now. Could be doing, but
That's who I honestly forgot who was champion. Y'all was sending Tiffany Stratton strays. I had to send one to Cody yesterday because I was like, all this Street Fighter talk, everybody complaining about Roman Reigns, but this dude out on the break too. Drew McIntyre or Randy
he
Orton
was
could
out
be
before, wasn't
champion.
he? Thank you.
Yeah.
And that's like, for instance, like when I was like, I forgot about Tiffany, like almost to the point, Oba and Javon Evans. I was like, okay, they're gonna give it to Javon so Oba can get another title run. I said, maybe this is what they're gonna do. And it's like, all right, you're gonna let them keep it 240 days. Okay, what's next? Do those days equate to them being a better superstar, being ready for main attraction? Because right now they are a main attraction. They're the main attraction on Tuesday. So you want them to be a B plus or C level player on Monday or Friday? Let them be the main attraction on Tuesday. Let them be the reason I tune in. So,
Yeah. I think there's a handful of stars that would thrive in NXT, but it's kind of like, and this is to Brian H's point about Triple H. Shawn Michaels being the best booker. Here's what Shawn Michaels does best, but it kind of hurts your point to the what you're saying, the guy, right? Shawn Michaels likes to book and move forward, right? Like, okay, cool. Let's build stars, but let's also move forward. He's looking for the next thing all the time. And it's like the problem is if you keep bringing those guys back, you don't give everybody else a chance to develop. Especially if like NXT is like the first graduation place. Like you do the indies, you do your IDs, you do your evolves. Okay, now you graduate to NXT. Let's see what you can do in front of this small WWE audience. That's what it is. It's a small WWE audience. But imagine Carmelo Hayes comes back. Who the heck wants to go toe to toe with that? Right?
no,
Someone
I'm
like
saying he shouldn't have left.
no,
No,
but
I'm saying they
this,
shouldn't even have left.
but that's my whole point though. So like Carmelo Hayes was on NXT the other way. I was like, oh, it must be sweet for television because I'm seeing all the DIY and I was like, oh my gosh. And but the crazy part is I would rather NXT be that way every week because I would tune in. Like I'm not always tuning in for the new fresh faces because I didn't tune in when Carmelo Hayes was in the mix. It took me a while. I said I was on here saying, who the heck is Carmelo Hayes? I know who he is now. He's him.
When he won
But
the breakout tournament, you're like, who is this guy?
it took
That's
him
And why
all
should I
that.
care?
like you
it took him
said.
all that. It took him that time. So it's like there's a natural progression that has to take place, right? But
Mm-hmm.
you need room for stars. But at the same time, the balance is always. This is what Brother Guy has been preaching about since NXT was, is it or not, is it or isn't it a third brand? Is where's the balance between still producing a quality show that people want to see versus always introducing new talent, and it's going to take time for them to develop. Like seeing Trick Williams in the ring and Carmelo Hayes, and I was like, it goes back to what we said once again on this show. We kept saying at some point Trick Williams is going to surpass Carmelo Hayes. He already got the look once he develops in the ring, he was the talking guy. I said it's going to be a problem.
Mhm.
So then when I see him in the ring with Carmelo Hayes and Trick and the other day with DIY, I looked at him, I said, man, that's not the same Trick Williams. That was his sidekick. You know what I mean?
Nope.
That was his mouthpiece. I'm like, Trick Williams is a star right there. Look at him. He's jacked, he's taller, he's carrying that TNA championship, with pride. Like
Even
he
though
has
one
no
time it was
problem.
upside downwards.
Yeah, I'm like, yo, he surpassed him, and he's probably going to have a better career than simply because of his size, his charisma, and stuff like that. He's a budding star that doesn't need to go anywhere. But I'm like,
And
yo,
he's the other champion. He's another company's champion that they felt enough to say, this is the one we're going to put the title on
but
and
it's
keep it on him.
and it's working for them though. Like it's paying all big. It's not like he's just holding. Like no, he's actually like drawing for them. I'm like, oh wow. So like
Hmm.
you can't complain about the fact that it's a WWE guy. I'm like, well, shoot. If he's putting up numbers and now they're shopping around for a television deal and he's had it long term, like he's going to go down in history as one of the longest TNA champions of this era.
Because
And
he's
it's
a
like, oh, so this is like a
bigger
legit thing.
star than
Yeah.
everybody on that roster. See,
He
the difference
is.
was Masha Slamovich. Masha, like JC Jane, and then putting over the next woman. It's an equal, like you said, even that progression. It's kind of like, okay, boom, this was the story, and now you come back and get it. Trick, there's nobody yet that's been built up where it's
No.
like it's massive. And like you said, even with like watching those four in the ring, yeah, I mean, I'm not a DIY fan personally, but I know what they mean as WWE superstars and to the NXT brand. And when they say, oh, this is the biggest tag team match in NXT history, it makes sense. Of course, you're supposed to sell it that way, but it makes sense because of who Mello Hayes is. I thought about something you said, bigger upside.
Mhm.
It's a reason why they're so like relatable to Kevin Nash and Diesel and Shawn Michaels,
Mhm.
because if Shawn Michaels was held in a box in
Mhm.
'93, we would have said the same exact thing you just said.
Oh
Diesel
wow.
has the bigger upside.
Sure. Yep.
Shawn Michaels figured out, with the help of Bret Hart opening the door for him, how to get out that box. And if Mello gets out of the box, I'm not going to say Mello's going to be Shawn Michaels. That's just such few shoes to fill.
Yeah, that's
But
that's a tough order.
yeah, but I
But
think
he can beat Carmelo. He don't have to be
he,
Shawn Michaels.
he
He
can
can
have
be
an
him.
opportunity. Hold on, let me reset. If Melo jumps out and does this, he can have an opportunity to not get lost in the shuffle and not be held down. And you'll have a big money matchup with them two, but then also kind of like two dudes with attitudes, there will be two stars side by side, and that's the way they look for the first time. They look like equals in the ring.
Yeah.
They never look, like you said, never look like the sidekick. So I do think that there is benefit. Like I said, I'm not a big fan of the way I thought. I guess because, and it's my fault. So when I say this, and I'll reset, when I say Triple H booking sucks, it's my fault because I believed that forever the transition from NXT to WWE was bad because of the old man didn't watch NXT. And
Right.
I thought, well, now you got this guy who watches it. We're going to have a better transition. And we have yet to get that through everyone. But I'm going to sit back and reserve a little judgment.
Well, shoot.
But
He's done it
my fault.
with the ladies.
I was yeah,
Ladies
but
ain't have no
DIY
problem.
and Trick Mello, they look like something that you would see on CW. All four of them. They look like those are characters from that, and they look like they are the ones. They are network ready. That you can say somebody will be like, let's see what this is. It's appealing to a lot of people. And if you remember when they first launched on CW, who was on the front? And clearly he was a proven draw for them. Trick Williams front and center.
All
Hmm.
And then
American.
Yeah.
yep. And then now who's the one that start having them sell out these arenas for TNA? Because you got to be honest, as soon as he became champion, it was like, oh, okay, he's
Yeah.
getting he's getting the butts and seats because people want
I
to go see him.
I thought it was just a quick rub to just to try to help build him up, but like he's been putting up numbers for. I'm like, oh, okay, so he's really like, okay, he's going to carry the company for these guys.
Because he listens.
Mhm.
It's that
Yeah.
simple. Trick Williams listens. You could tell. Like I mentioned before about the whole thing with the Undertaker back and forth. But we all know, we smart enough to know, Mark Calloway don't just get in the ring with anybody. You
Yeah.
know, those legends and these, as you would call them sometimes, realness. These old geezers not wasting their time. So,
Who's that calling old geezer?
these legends not wasting their screen time, So
Yeah.
if Undertaker is going to get on screen with a Obafemi, with a Trick Williams, you best
Mhm.
believe that he's having good talks with them, and even Mello and Braun Breaker.
Hmm.
He ain't lying.
Yeah, you know it. And we got it running, ladies and gentlemen. Here he is. Brother Hugh has
You heard
just
the
entered
beat.
the building.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What's
Welcome,
going
Brother
on?
Hugh. Oops, you guys are already where you're supposed to be. Welcome, Brother Hugh.
That's my tag team partner.
Thank you. Thank you. What's going on, y'all?
Yeah,
Brother guy's
Hey,
much more comfortable now.
going crazy.
yes,
She was
I feel better.
real. She,
I'm wet.
she was real. I was going to say something else. That's how
Man,
she
they're
was
bringing
feeling.
something different, boy.
She, she was like, "Oh, he got on pink. Maybe you should be wearing pink." I'm like,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We're her boyfriend right there. But she was sitting there loving Brother Hugh.
Hey,
hmm
you had
I
to know.
had that effect on him. You know what I'm saying?
You
I mean, what
you
can I
do.
say?
You
What can I
definitely
say?
do. Brother Hugh, we in the mix of having an intense conversation based off of what you watched. Brother Guy and Brian H. Hollywood were just talking about just some of the things we watch. And most recently, Brother Guy's talking about the rabbit hole he's gone down as far as the NXT and just,
I
some of
was
the
just
things
about to
that
say it's probably NXT. Before, you know what I mean? I was thinking
he
it was that.
he said he went down a rabbit hole, you know what I mean, about who
Mhm.
were better. And, he noticed a lot of one is in reference to some of the championship culture episodes you guys have done in, reference to what's going on right now. But to get to since you're here, why not? Let's give you an opportunity to ask, what did you watch? What did you get into this week, sir?
Man, I don't want to be a cop out and say, I watched the W just now, but I did watch a W happen,
Okay.
a very glorious W. We just had the Orioles
I
game
won't
and
give
whatnot.
in. I won't give in. Still on,
But no,
victorious.
I was
Brian
watching the
is
vault.
was in a good mood, by the way, because he said
Yeah,
it. Or I said, okay,
absolutely.
he's gonna be in a good mood. So
I was watching the vault, and I don't know
Please
why I
stop.
keep
Oh
going.
no.
I don't know why I keep going back
bro.
to this, but the rebirth of Shawn Michaels, the story of the rebirth of Shawn Michaels,
oh, come on, man.
2002.
I know where this
I
is
watched that
going.
whole. I watched that whole thing,
Just,
and
just mute him.
look, I
Brian H.
stand by my case. Forget
Brian H. already
everybody.
brought up the doo-doo pants. So let me just reference that right now. He
All
already
right. Thank you, Brian H, for bringing up the doo-doo pants. Did you bring up the cut too?
Oh no, that was I left that
no,
for
that's
you.
even worse. We don't have to talk about these things.
Thank you,
What?
realness.
I noticed it again. I was like, hold up. I forgot he had that ugly cut then. But yeah, that made it about 10 times worse. The pants about 10 times worse. That
Can
the
I
little boy
quickly
cut he had.
can I quickly defend Shawn Michaels before you continue, Brother Hugh? I
Do
just
you
want
think,
to
sir?
You and Corey,
listen.
y'all
No,
be
it's
trying, so I'm gonna
bro,
listen.
all I'm saying is Brother Hugh brought up the doo-doo pants, and once again, he just mentioned the haircut. From what I learned after all these years, Shawn Michaels was not expecting to come back for that spot before they asked him. And he's like, "Oh shoot, I just cut my hair." That's one. That's how we explained the mom cut. And then the doo-doo pants was his gear wasn't finished. Now, as a gear guy, I don't think that's an excuse because I'm like,
Right.
you wrestled for 20 years. I'm sure you got something that you can still fit and you can throw on. But
Right.
from what I was told
Realness.
was the gear wasn't done, and he was trying to be different. He was trying not to be the old Shawn Michaels. He found Jesus and stuff, but literally like a month later, he finally went back to some new version of his old gear. And
Right.
so
Right.
that's all.
Realness.
That's just all that I got, Brother Hugh. So you can continue.
Realness.
Yeah,
You
yes,
know,
Brother guy.
Well,
I
all,
I was okay with this until if you Google Shawn Michaels gear, Shawn Michaels wrestling fans, Shawn Michaels WWE, anything, the first thing that comes up 9 times out of 10 when I tried it
Doodle
was
pants.
the brown pants.
Doo-doo pants. That's how bad it
Was
was.
yes, that's what I said. I said I wonder, and I said, oh, it really does come up every single time.
Uh,
Yep, yep.
Go ahead, brother. I'm
But
sorry. I just
no,
wanted to just clear that up. Fans.
I was just going to say, I stand by my case. What I said. I say what I said. The second part of his career is the better part of his career. It was better than his prime run. It
Ooh,
is,
that's
and I
hard,
don't care
bro.
what nobody say because
You didn't even
I've
do
been watching.
this week.
I've been doing my research.
Mhm.
I've been doing my research, and by far, I haven't been convinced otherwise yet.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'm just throwing it out there. I'm not
It's
done,
like
but
comparing Kobe 8 to Kobe 24.
See,
absolutely,
I'm gonna
that
tell you
is
why
true.
I'm gonna tell you why I'm conflicted to what you're saying, brother Hugh. Because I'm gonna be
Yes,
honest
sir.
with you. I feel because I want to argue with you, but part of it because like I can't because it's like my favorite version of Shawn Michaels is like I'm not gonna lie to you, like 90 late 94, 95
Really?
Yeah.
to up to 98. So we're talking really off about a 4-year stretch.
Okay.
Like
Oh,
we talking
okay,
like
so, okay.
we talking like post WrestleMania 10. And even then, that mullet Shawn Michaels, I was like, okay, cool, he's cool, but he was just Shawn Michaels to me. I ain't become
Facts.
like, okay, I'm officially in love with Shawn Michaels until literally like we talking around SummerSlam, the rematch, around that era when the mullet was gone and he was full zebra pants. But you know what I mean? So it's like
I love 95 Michaels. After post WrestleMania getting the power bomb,
Yeah.
I'm
that's
all in.
kind of where I'm at too, though, because that's when
Yeah.
Shawn Michaels to me was like really coming into who Shawn Michaels was. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's why I'm like, dang, brother, it's kind of hard. Like the 4-year gap between 95 to 90, really 3.5, even that. But then like from 2022 to like whenever he retired, like oof. He had two
I say
crazy, and he had
second because my favorite Shawn Michaels is this one now.
so he
Of course.
he's happy with
Amen.
the booking in NXT right now, brother Hugh. So
Hey,
that's
I'm not mad at it either.
But yes,
But
okay.
yeah.
I just it's hard for me to argue with you. I want to because I liked his. I'm gonna tell you what messed me up when he changed his pants. He was Shawn Michaels until he showed up at WrestleMania 21 against Kurt Angle, and I was like, bro, what's up with the pants?
baggy pants.
Yeah,
Oh, the
because
baggy
I
pants
don't
with
like
the
those
Yeah.
either.
because
with the
he
chains
had
on
He
it
had
and
that.
stuff.
He had that big old knee brace on.
he had another knee surgery. Yep, and he changed because Rey Mysterio did the same thing, and he changed
No,
his
put that
he
joint
changed
on
his
the
gear.
outside.
He had it on underneath. He had it underneath, and I was like,
Nah,
bro, you had
put
it
it
all
on the
that
outside.
time, bro.
I need to see I need
No,
and
you can't have it
respectfully.
outside. It covers up the zebra print. You can't do that. That's the mess.
Mm.
I was gonna say respectfully, I need to see the tights.
Didn't he have it on in the doodle pants? He had it under the
I don't
tights,
know.
right?
Who knows?
Am I
Nah,
tripping?
it's just regular.
He had
has-
whatever he had on his doodle
Oh
pants.
no, he had the knee
doodled
pads on.
pants.
Okay. Yeah, he had knee pads on top. Okay, all right, cool.
It's terrible. And cowboy boots.
Yeah,
He
I
said
sent
he
you a
forgot
Then
picture
I
so
was
you
wrestling
can
mad
boots.
always
he
have
lost
it.
the title at the 3 Stages of Hell with Triple H.
And then but you see when he finally came back in that gear, right? I said, bro, that's the
Yeah.
gear you should have came back in and won the title
Yeah.
first. You know how iconic
That's
that would
true.
have been.
That's why I wanted him to hold the title a little bit longer.
He lost it that night. He not with Triple H in that era.
Armageddon, yeah.
No, I was gonna say
put it
you knew.
over.
You know who's getting it back.
That was my favorite. Like, okay, Shawn Michaels is back there because when he first came back, I was like, man, that ain't Shawn Michaels, and I wasn't. I was in between watching wrestling. I wasn't watching the product, and then I was like, all right, well,
You
shoot,
ain't
Shawn
like
Michaels.
jeans with jeans.
No, I didn't like none of his until he came back.
Non-sanction match.
I hated that. I didn't care if it got a Bible verse on his wife beat her or nothing.
Oh,
No, I to this day I never watched that match.
it's,
If you
no, 'cause
get
it's regarded as like, mofos will say that's a top SummerSlam.
Brian H, if he does
Yeah.
not have the right gear on, I'm not watching it.
I'm not mad at your take, and
I don't like.
I'm not. I won't say you're wrong. I just said like, I guess I'm just shocked that you've never watched it. But then, like you said,
No,
if
not
you
in
was
full,
and
ever.
out, yeah.
Yeah, no, it wasn't until and by the time he really came back, it was Shawn Michaels. I wasn't even watching it full time. So like I'll go back and watch like 2003. To me, like 2000 by 2003, he was like fully back. I wasn't even watching.
Yeah.
I was not watching.
I gotta ask you this. See, this is what happens. You say stuff, and then I get curious about your childhood.
Uh-oh.
There wasn't no excitement when you found out and you heard through the grapevine that Shawn Michaels was back? It wasn't like, oh, I gotta pay attention to
It
everything.
was. But when I
Okay.
saw him, he wasn't Shawn Michaels. You got I like okay, listen. You guys cracked open this can of worms. So let me tell you my experience with Shawn Michaels. I fell in love with Shawn Michaels after he was gone. Like
Okay.
by the time I was like Shawn Michaels, I was going back watching everything, and I was like, because I was
Gotcha.
seeing pictures, action figures, matches, and I was like, bro, I want this Shawn Michaels. So then by the time he came back, he was Commissioner Michaels. He was on commentary. I didn't know he was hurt. I didn't. I
Mhm.
really didn't even know why he left. I knew he got hurt somehow, but I was like, I kept every time he popped up, I kept saying, "Oh my gosh, Shawn Michaels is coming back." Is because whatever I didn't see on Raw, I was watching in old tapes, old magazines, old pictures, and I was like, "Yo, this is the Shawn Michaels that I'm feeling like. This is my favorite version of Shawn Michaels." But he was past that already. So by the time he came back, and he was like, "Shawn Michaels coming back," I'm watching, and I'm like, "Okay, cool." I ain't really see what happened. I was like, "Wait a minute, he was back," and then I was like, "Wait a minute, he's not really Shawn Michaels." I'm gonna tell you what pissed me off another time when he came back and he was supposed to be with Triple H, and they teased DX that night. My brother said DX
Yeah.
is back. I said,
And then
bro,
that
no, the
heel
heck
turn.
they not.
Yeah.
Mind you, I didn't know the backstory. It didn't make sense to me. I didn't know the backstory until I went back and I watched the little story joints they do on WWE where they tell you the story of Shawn Michaels. I didn't realize why Triple H had turned on him when Eric Bischoff
Yeah.
had wanted Shawn Michaels to be in his corner, and Triple H was like, "Yo, just be my manager." And Shawn Michaels was like, "I'm not nobody's manager. I'm not second foot. I'm still Shawn Michaels." I'm like, "Oh, so that's." I didn't know that to this day. Like, I'm my age now. Like this was like a month ago. I found that out because I wasn't watching at that time. I didn't know none of the backstage segments. All I know is my brother said DX getting back together. I said, man, no way. I came down, I stood in front of the TV, and they came out, and I was really like, bro, this is going down. And then he kicked him. I was like, bro, this is exactly why I don't watch this no more. And I walked out the room. Might have been like 13, 14, 15. I might have been like in high school. I might have been freshman in high school. I said, I'm not watching this no more. This is exactly why I don't watch this. I was pissed. Like I was, bro, I was mad. Like y'all think it's fun. I'm trying to tell you. You keep saying you want to take a dive to my child. That's where I was.
know. I'm loving this. I'm
So
a
by the time I came back to wrestling full time, you be talking like maybe late, really like early 2005. To be honest with you, like I was like full back. I'm in high school collection action figures, trying to put on matches and all that kind of stuff. And I had missed 2 years of and he was like back, but I had to go back and watch that in backlogs because I was like, that ain't Shawn Michaels. I'm glad you saved Shawn Michaels. You come out with your little Jesus t-shirts. I said, but I need the Heartbreak Kid back. And so by the time he came back and he was fully himself, I didn't appreciate it until like he was already, changed. So then WrestleMania 21 comes up and I'm looking at it and I'm like, yo, what's up with his pants? He forgot to take his chaps off, not realizing how he had combined the look of people wear the chaps with, over his gear, but then he like made new, like you call it the indie leather pants gear with the chaps and the gear connected. I'm like, oh, come on, bro. What are you doing? Like, what are we doing here? Him and Kurt Angle beefer. So that's my history with Shawn Michaels and his pants. So, and I adjusted to it. I got over it after a while, but it was a hard adjustment. So it brings me back to my original point, my brother. It's hard for me to argue because it's like, okay, because he was still Shawn Michaels and he was doing Shawn Michaels things. But the more you know, you want to know about the realness, you got it. So there you go. See, I didn't even mean to go down that route, but see, Brian is always picking. He's like, no, I need to know. I'm like, all right, you want to go there? I can tell you what was going through my mind.
Let's take it there.
I have not forgotten my child brain. I really have not.
Boom,
Like I
boom,
remember.
boom, 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 boom. You know what I mean? Let's go.
I know a place. Ain't nobody crying. Ain't nobody wearing doo-doo pants.
Let me tell you who wear that out on the base. Big H.
I know
Big
you.
H going crazy.
As soon as you said wear it on the base, I knew you was referring to this. Gotta be Big H.
Yep.
I
The
said,
smoothest one.
Hey, don't let somebody talk about we don't have no marching music. Don't worry about it. We got you.
Just hold on.
Smoothest play in the land, bro. I'm telling you.
Seatbelts.
Hit that, I'll take you there beat. We're gonna play that, and the ushers go marching, and they gonna hit that. Ooh, they got that curve, that sharp turn. We got him. And then my cousin on the keyboard, she just add the melody, man. I mean the organ. I wish I had those tapes. But I understand how you feel, because I felt that way about Daniel Bryan. He wasn't Daniel Bryan with that ugly gear at WrestleMania.
No. If he wore if Daniel Bryan wore his Seahawks gear, I don't watch none of his Seahawks gear matches. I'm be honest with you, I don't.
That's crazy.
You
Yeah, I
think it's
get
a
you.
joke. I do
get
not
you.
watch. If I'm telling you, if the gear's not right, there's certain Bret Hart matches I do not watch. If I'm not, I ain't feeling that gear. I ain't watching
Brett
that.
never failed at gear, but that's a different story for a different.
Now he did a couple times. I'm like, all right, nope, I ain't feeling it. One of Brian H's favorite gears, I was like, nope, that's whack. It's no white in it. It's just all black and pink. Where's the white going to the middle?
Royal Rumble with him and Owen teaming up when he won the Royal Rumble later that night.
What did he wear?
He wore the black and the pink. It was mainly majority black.
I mean, he wore black and pink every match.
No, but it was majority.
No. He black. He had black, pink, and then outlined in white, either on the outside or the inside, or stars going down the side of Hitman. Bro, I was on it. I'm telling you, Bret Hart's gear was my stuff.
But but see, that's a different. We're gonna have to go.
I could do a whole show about wrestling gear. I probably would, but I don't know how to piece it together. But it's just
you
all
So
the best
realness,
wrestling gear.
do you like?
I can't.
You know, I gotta shoehorn this in. Did you like Jericho's pants or his shorts?
See, here's the thing.
See, here we go. Nobody cares about Jericho.
I love Jericho's pants, especially when he
You
came
shut
back.
up! I let y'all talk about Shawn Michaels for 37 minutes. You gonna talk about Jericho for 3?
When I always liked Jericho's gear, I always did. But when he went to trunks, it was an adjustment. But once he wore trunks, I was fine with it. You know what I mean? Like especially short hair Jericho with the trunks. I had no beef with it.
It evolved with the character.
When he held the belt, like yes.
Yeah, like he looked. He's one of the guys that he never had like signature gear. So he was like him and Seth Rollins never have signature gear. It's just like whatever. Yeah, there it is. Signature styles more than anything. But yeah,
see, that's why I hated the shorts. But then it felt like he was the world champion, Jericho, with the shorts.
Yeah,
Because the pants felt like the Ayatollah. You know, and long hair goes with the pants. That's why I don't like his AEW black leather gear. I think it's stupid.
Yeah.
Jericho up to,
And
nope.
I love his return gear. His Save Us Y2J gear was really good. His pants. I like those a lot before he went to trunks with the short hair. So Jericho was versatile. He was always one of my favorites. I think he was always a Shawn Michaels wannabe because the match they had at WrestleMania 18, that Safeco Field, that was good. Shawn Michaels pants. 19. I keep saying 18. My fault, bro.
We stole the show. You can't tell me we didn't steal the show. I'll tell anybody we stole the show. You didn't steal the show. But
Shawn Michaels stole the show. And he had good pants.
The match of the night was the main.
You say he had good pants.
He had good pants on.
You say he had good pants on.
He did. I want those. They go perfectly with the Wrestling Realm hoodie.
Yeah, no doubt.
Okay.
The red and black zebra print.
I just at that time I couldn't fathom having 2 pairs of Shawn Michaels pants and only 1 pair of Bret Hart shorts, but I'm over that. So eventually
the Hitman shorts, boy. The infamous Hitman
I got
shorts.
right here.
Shut up, Hugh.
You know what I'm saying?
Is that the Jones of Brian got trouble?
Hall of Fame joints.
There we go. Mine right here.
Hey!
Put my personal business in the streets. Look at that.
Yes, sir.
Look at that. Okay. We got some
Come on, dog.
stuff going
He just
on
wanted to show. He just wanted to show his thigh. You see that?
Hey,
They bringing out the Hoochie Daddy shorts tonight.
Yeah, he said you want to see that. He said, "Here you go." He said, "I'll stamp that."
Listen,
Cut
there's
that for a
nothing.
clip.
Anytime we can talk about Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels, I'm all for it. I could do that all day.
I'll tell you one thing.
Mhm.
You know who ain't gonna mess up their gear?
And who's that?
That lady right there on the screen.
Look at him with the segue. Okay,
AJ Lee. That's not
He
smooth. I
was.
like it.
that was very
AJ
smooth, actually.
Respectfully.
He's about to say something wild. That's what he's about to say.
No, I just said respectfully because I realized I say yes.
Amen.
He has returned to WWE, and fans are flipping and losing their minds because she is about to make her in-ring return. Now, of course, when she showed up, she looked like she did not age a day. She looks like she's in excellent shape, and so many people are excited. So, of course, tonight's show, this is the main event of our show. We're almost out of here. We're going to talk about AJ Lee's return to WWE, her impact on the product, what she did before, what are we hoping that we're doing now, and I want to notice if the brothers have caught on to a trend that's going on. It's like a casual trend that I'm not sure if anybody's paying attention to that's been going on in WWE, especially when it comes to women's wrestlers and the talent from yesteryear as they show back up today. But brothers, here we are. Last week we discussed Seth Rollins, Becky Lynch. First of all, let me just go ahead and say this. Let me just go ahead and just put this out now because Brian needs to get to me when I don't explain myself. Becky Lynch has got to be one of the top 5 best things in pro wrestling right now.
Facts.
In every mother freaking thing. She is so good at what she does. Like, not a women's segment, just the segment. Like, they call her the for a reason. She goes out there and she performs every week. And I'm saying to myself, why does she get this so well? She is a mother, for goodness sake. Like, she should have mommy brain at some point, and she doesn't. Like, it's no way in the world that she's that good at what she does on a regular basis. And she made a comment when she said that, you know what, I am Becky Lynch and I am the women's intercontinental champion. And this is the most important and prestigious belt right now because it's around my waist. And I could not agree with her more. I said, think about it. The women's intercontinental championship is at the forefront of every women's title right now. It's because of what it's involved in. It's not involved around the title, but the fact that she carries it, she carries a certain level of weight. So her and AJ Lee, like, man, the matchups could be absolutely intense right now, especially like Nikki Bella coming back with AJ Lee and who else may return. You know what I mean? The matchup she's had with Natalya and what's her name? From
Lyra?
Yes, Lyra Valkyria, and from what's the girl Otis' girlfriend? Tiffany Stratton. This
Maxine
What is it,
Dupree.
Otis?
Maxine Dupree.
Like, she's across the
her,
board with
my
everybody.
bad.
He said, "Oh,
And I'm-
her, my bad."
And I'm
Hey,
saying,
oldest girlfriend.
I
and
was
I'm
thinking of
saying to
Mandy
myself,
Rose.
what in the world? Like, she's better than some of the guys. Like if you say give me a Becky Lynch segment, I'm like, okay, buck your seatbelt. She about to do something outrageous. There's no way in the world she should be that good at entertaining. Like, I didn't think anybody could annoy me more than Seth Rollins, but his wife can actually do a better job of it. So seeing her having an opportunity to get in the ring with AJ Lee and CM Punk, I'm like, fans have been waiting for this moment for such a long time. And I'm personally saying this might steal the show. I know they're loading up for Wrestlepalooza because of what it means, and it's ESPN's debut with WWE's first PLE on that platform. But what are we hoping to get from AJ Lee in her return? Are we excited to have her back? Are we expecting any ring rust? Do we think that she's going to reactivate? Because she stepped right in and she said it off breaks. My crazy is my superpower. She did talk about mental health, but she has talked about how she has weaponized that aspect of her life, and she is going to take it out on the person that put hands on her husband. How are we feeling about AJ Lee finally making her in-ring return to WWE? Brothers, let's talk about it.
I'm excited, and I'm gonna tell you this. I don't think there'll be any ring rust because, quite frankly, AJ Lee been working. She just ain't been working in WWE. Now she hasn't been wrestling so much, but it's been no secret she's been down and wild, getting them ladies together and being a trainer. But the one thing is with this matchup, right? We will see some wrestling, but we're gonna see such good storytelling.
Theater.
AJ does a phenomenal job with her eyes
Yes.
and her body motions, right?
That's psychology.
When you go back, the match I want people to go back and watch, if they haven't, watch Daniel Bryan versus CM Punk. And I remember watching this. Shout out to Charlie Speed and E-Rock. Because we watched this match together. It's
Podcast of Pain.
Podcast of Pain. It's Money in the Bank. It's ironic. I just thought about something. Who won that year? I want to say it was Dolph, right? Yeah, Dolph won it that year. And I remember them actually calling Cody to win. That was just a side memory that just came. But when you sit back and you watch AJ Lee in that match, she was so accidentally on purpose seductive. And the thing is, her and Punk wasn't even like together. But y'all remember there was like a romance, like it was a love triangle that was surrounded by the WWE Championship at the time. And she kept like using her eyes slowly but surely. And when you read her book, you learn that Vince McMahon was saying some disparaging things like, "Oh, well, what a good you? Nobody's want to sleep with you. Nobody's," and it's like wrong. And then you see the way she was like going up to Seth Rollins, and she was being that crazy person. Now, if there's anybody out there right now that watches Beyond the Gates, there's a story of this girl, Allison. And Allison, you saw the screenshot where she's just, y'all may see on the social media networks, there's the girl in an orange jumpsuit, and she's looking like this. And realness, she has crazy eyes.
Oh,
See?
And
Hey, look.
to see AJ Lee, I saw it on Monday when Rollins was in the ring and he was getting upset. And she was poking her neck out, bent at a 3/4 angle, poking her back.
Was it exactly 3/4?
Yes.
Okay.
And
Crazy
she
eyes.
sat there and was like,
Yep.
yes.
Yep.
And I was like, oh, and the person who gets under everybody's skin with his annoying laugh, right? Because like you said this, and you said it perfectly, Realness. You said that Seth Rollins annoys you, but you didn't think anybody could annoy you more, and it was Becky Lynch.
Indeed.
Well, Becky had already been like gone balls to the wall, frustrated, and he was like, "Hold on, wife, let me handle this," and he couldn't.
No.
He couldn't, and I'm like, Punk comes out there and he just hits tries to hit the GTS. I was like, oh, why didn't he beat him up so more? But whatever. And it was just like, oh,
They said you got to pay for that one.
Yeah.
yo, they're gonna steal the show because
I'm telling you.
I'm gonna tell you this. Y'all ready? Wrestlepalooza, right? John Cena versus Brock Lesnar is going to bring the casual fans there.
Yes, it is. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
They're going
makes
to be
sense.
the ones to make people turn away from their college football that Saturday. But it's going to be AJ, CM Punk, Seth Rollins, and Becky Lynch that turn them into wrestling fans. And they're going to
That's a
be
bold prediction.
the story, because this is just the beginning of this chapter.
Yes.
They're going to be the story that makes people tune in to Monday Night Raw at 7:00 the next day.
Yeah.
Savage and Steamboat.
Yeah,
Everybody been clamoring for the Savage and Steamboat match. What people don't realize is Punk, and when people thought it was gonna be Punk and Jericho because they thought All Rock and Cena was gonna be sort of Hogan Andre-esque. Rock, as much as I was a huge Rock and Cena fan, that match didn't have that type of clout to bring in wrestling fans. This one is that new age level, as far as Cena and Lesnar, because of where Lesnar's been, the controversy that comes to follow him, and the simple fact it's John Cena's farewell tour.
True.
But you gotta have that match that says, we're here every week. We're going to be the reason you tune in, because you're going to have to wait Friday for that fallout. But we're going to be the match to say, oh, we got to come back in 2 days.
The scary part is that's the reason why you ain't worried about a Cody Rhodes or a freaking Tiffany Stratton, because as long as you got a Seth Rollins and a Becky Lynch pulling up to your show, I'm not worried about it. I'm not asking where the champions are because I see two champions in the ring.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's just what it is, brother.
You
Guy,
hit
how
a
you
spot
feeling?
on.
Hold on real quick.
Yeah.
Did you not say this? Because Triple H is trying to take credit. He's trying to take credit for this.
Uh-oh.
But we at here on the Wrestling Realm Now podcast will not let that happen. Before I tag in the brother Guy, I have to remind the people that it was the real Dwayne Allen that called this the biggest match. Now, he's trying to say it's the biggest match since him and Ronda and Stephanie and Kurt Angle. No, biggest match ever. Realness called this last week.
I
Help
sure
me,
did.
somebody.
I sure as heck did, brother guy. How you feel about AJ Lee? You excited to have her back?
I'm excited because I think that it's Triple H has shown us you don't know what you want until I tell you what you want.
You've
A
said
year
that before.
ago,
Hmm.
yeah, a year ago, nobody even was thinking about this. 2 years ago, when CM Punk came back, it was, oh, where's AJ Lee? Same question in AEW, right?
Hmm.
And he even made the notion, yeah, she's fine. And that was it. Even with the whole bracelet thing and her name, we didn't want it right then because him and Drew was going to kill each other because there was that fight fire energy. Even when we saw the bracelet had her name on it, even when we saw it had Larry's name on it, we was like, okay, all right, but we don't need her right now.
Hmm.
When the Becky Lynch of the situation and all these other female stars start dancing around, he was spreading the Triple H dust saying, all right, which one is going to stick? Which way do we go? And we still shooting season 2 and 3 are probably unreal because you see the little clip came out, her signing, pen to paper.
Yep.
You mean to tell me right before she walked out, the same way CM Punk signed, right before he went out, they put pen to paper? Come on now. But it's all entertainment. So I think the thing that people don't realize, AJ Lee is that person who made you believe in the smaller stature, which I have been complaining about, that it didn't feel real when smaller women like a Zelina Vega and a Roxanne Perez is wrestling. I couldn't get behind.
Hmm.
AJ Lee has a way to make you believe that she is a credible threat to any woman. Like Alexa Bliss did it for a little while, and like
Hmm.
but when she was certain matchups, you're like, why is Alexa going against Hugh's girlfriend? Either one of his girlfriends, actually. You're like, why is this happening? You know what I mean? But AJ Lee has a different style. She's not a typical, but she's a throwback diva that we need.
And
We
she
got a
sells like
throwback
a
diva
boss.
that we didn't. Yeah, we got a throwback diva that seemed like only Brian H wanted. And we're going to leave it at that because I don't see what's the purpose of her anymore
You talking
besides
about
the
Nikki Bella?
nostalgia pop. Yeah, I don't see what's the purpose.
I'm going to
As
address that. That's one of my points at the
yeah,
end of the show.
but I think that he's given us, hey, he's trying to say, do you want something else? And I was hoping he was going to bring that up because you notice all of a sudden we're going a different route with her, which I think is going to lead to something else
Hmm.
because there's a lot of other things that can be splintered off from that. But AJ, as far as that's concerned, I'm glad that we're getting this intergender match, and I think we're going to get a very entertaining intergender match. But I don't think that this is going to be over. I think Becky and her are going to have fight forever energy. Um, to the point that it comes down to them two at Royal Rumble, and we kind of see something at Elimination Chamber with them two still fighting forever, with or without a title. I think this is bigger than a title. Sometimes I get hung up on that. I don't want the title in the storyline. But then if that title was somewhere else, nobody would be caring about it and the storyline would still be about them.
Hmm.
Because right now, even though Seth is the world champion, you care about it because you know what he did to Punk. But now it's going to be okay, two champions in the match. I'm more excited for the single match that's going to come after it because you know it's about to be a big deal. Or it's going to be a AJ Team AJ versus Team Becky in Survivor Series. I hope they do that at a traditional Survivor Series match and not a War Games match. But that's my 2 cents. I'm glad she's back. I think it was one of those things that this is what you want. I'm gonna give it to you because I told you this is what you wanted, and that's the story they've been telling.
Okay. So there you have it. So that's brother God's take on AJ Lee returning to the ring. How about you, brother Hugh? How you feeling about AJ Lee being back, man? Are you excited? I know fans have wanted it. First of all, that pop she got was absolutely insane. So let's put it this way: there's no secret that fans wanted her, but she came back to me in rare form. I was like, oh wow, she has not aged, and she's every bit of AJ Lee. And then I know for a fact, like I was sitting there with Adam, brother Hugh. And I
Mhm.
was like, oh, and he was not familiar with AJ. He knew of her because of he looked it up, but he was not
Right.
familiar. And I'm gassing up like, oh, this is you have no idea. This is his wife, and she's this and she's that, and she was nuts. And he's like, and it was we stood by that TV like, all right, here we go. She's about to come out, just like the fans did, and went absolutely nuts because of the story they told. Right, it wasn't just the AJ Lee because we loved her matches. Like, no, it was the dynamic between, hey, that's CM Punk's wife. He hates Seth Rollins. He has respect for his wife, but then his wife is disrespecting him. So it was an easy story to follow. And
Right.
and it's like, so now she gained a new level of fans that he's 11. You know what I mean? He wasn't familiar with her stuff in the past, but he knows the dynamic of the situation. And now he's like, oh, this is something I need to see. And he has no previous recollection of it versus what we saw and got to enjoy from AJ Lee all that time. And like I said, she was one of the predecessors of what we see now and how the importance of the women placed on the shows. And she was one of the pioneers of that, of that movement. So like I said, how was your perspective as a fan that has seen her before, and how are your expectations? How are you managing your expectations as far as her return to the ring? What are you expecting? What are you hoping to see? What do you like to see?
Well, I think I alluded to it before. I'm hoping to see all of those fantasy bookings that everybody's asking for. Roxanne and all these new females, Tiffany and whatnot. But before we get there, I would love to say that AJ, to be honest, out of all of the wrestlers that I've seen, like, she has to be one of the ones that has the best character work altogether. She's too convincing at her character. I remember that from the Divas days. Like, look, I was never looking for AJ Lee. Let's be honest, during the Divas age, because look, if you look at her from a distance, your first look is like, look, all right, she's a small girl. You can't take her seriously, whatever. But if you look at her character work, and I got to think for crazy chicks too. But
you sound like CM Punk.
I'm sitting here looking at Brother Hugh because I'm like, so you really about to lie on the stream? You wasn't looking for AJ.
No, I ain't gonna lie. I don't do that. I'm gonna tell the truth.
Oh yeah, because the AJ Lee is your type.
That's it. By the way, I love crazy chicks. Okay, all right. You and Punk got a lot in common.
Just like her.
But it was her character work that captivated me from the beginning.
Right.
Like Brandon said, that look, smaller wrestlers aren't really that impactful to him.
Yep.
But to me, she made it so that the smaller wrestlers are being paid attention to.
Sure.
You see what I'm saying? Her style is just unique. There's no way to really break it down, to be honest. I love the fact, like I said, her character work is top tier. She plays that crazy role. Like you said, all of the mannerisms, the looks, everything to a T is 100% phenomenal and on point, right? But I go from that to say, I'm glad, as far as the women that are coming back into wrestling now.
That's the next segue.
I'm glad that she's one of my top picks that I wanted to come back in the first place.
Now tell us why.
Because number one, I knew that she was still in good shape. I saw her on heels.
Oh yeah, okay,
I know she was doing training and whatnot with Stardom and everybody else, right? So it's like,
he was jacked up at one point. Remember?
Absolutely. So I knew she was still in shape. I was just waiting for her to be like, look, all right, look, my husband came back, so let me jump in. They've been asking for a while, ever since CM Punk came back or the rumors started, right?
Yeah.
So I'm glad that they found the right storyline to insert her, like you said, for it to make sense and not just giving it towards and be like, oh, okay, all right, now what?
Nostalgia, the AEW nostalgia pop. Oh, okay, we're glad to have you.
Right. So now you're setting up extra matches or matches down the line, potentially for just with the best worker in the business right now.
Yeah.
And Becky Lynch all around.
Yep.
You could tell this story for a whole year. Let's be honest. And you will not get tired of it because they're going to go in there. They're going to have a different match every time they step in the ring.
That's that fight forever energy.
Absolutely. So I'm looking forward to that feud. Number one, I feel like AJ is going to take that IC title off, just because. Why not?
Add to the legacy the title.
Why not? Right.
Yeah.
There's something new.
And they're back in time for it because they didn't have it when they were there. Give them that chance, because you give it to a male. Why not give it to a female to add to their name in that part of history?
And then whoever she works with, she's an established brand. We talked about this. You talked about it, brother.
Right. And you think about it, the majority of the girls on this roster, who did they look up to?
Bingo. She was a pioneer. That's her.
That's it. That's
the same way.
So we're going to get all those matches right now. And I can't wait. Did you see the clip of Roxanne on Raw?
Mm-hmm.
Like on during commercial break, they played the little trailer of AJ Lee or whatever, and she's standing on the side of the ring, like in awe, just like, oh my God,
Locked in, like,
she's
oh
here.
snap,
She's really
it's
here.
about to happen.
With the biggest smile on her face. She's not even in character. The biggest
Right.
smile on her face in front of everybody. Just like, wow. Like, and then she had to snap back into character.
Like, oh
And I
shoot.
was just like, man, yeah, I can't wait. This is great. This is gonna be some great stuff
Line them up.
that we're
Matter
gonna
of
see.
fact, I'm gonna do it this week. The top 5 matches I can't wait to see for AJ.
There it is. Hey
boy.
man, it's gonna be fire. For
No,
sure.
and that's the crazy part when you think about it of freaking AJ Lee being back and being kind of the pioneer of the same way CM Punk had the effect on
Yep.
to me the indie superstar. You know, she was a pioneer for a lot of, like you said, she was the one that allowed smaller wrestlers to be the ones to, you know what I mean, to show, hey, look, you can be this size and still perform at a high level. You know, we don't get a Liv Morgan perform at the level she does, because remember, AJ Lee used to sell like a boss. She used to flip and get flipped inside out, and it's like, okay, cool. She found a way at her size to be productive in the ring and to be believable. And I'm like, man, this is going to be if she's back full time, and when I mean about full time is it's the new full time, where it's like, you know, that everybody's schedule isn't 300 days a year because this is the contract you got to work to eat. It's like Triple H has already made it clear. It's like you don't have to be that way. You know what I mean? To put on a good show. We don't need everybody here 300 days a week to earn your paycheck. Like, we're trying to put on the best show possible. And to Brother Hughes' point, I noticed something. There's a lot of pro wrestlers from the Divas era that are returning, like a Nikki Bella, like AJ Lee, and I'm like, wait a minute, there's this random influx of women of the past that are coming back to be like, nah, I want to come back for another run when it's possible. And I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense. And you say, well, why is Nikki Bella back and stuff? I said, bro, these are Hall of Fame established brands. These young girls and new talent need somebody to work. Everybody can't work with Charlotte. You know what I mean? Charlotte and Alexa Bliss are holding it down because they're the tag champs. I'm like, cool. So now they can work with the tag teams. You know what I mean? You still got Bayley, you still got Becky Lynch, you still got, you know, some of these other established names to help work with all this new young talent coming up. I'm like, bro, this is why the women's wrestling in WWE is about to take over the world. It's ridiculous because it's like,
wow,
because you have established names helping to legitimately build the stars, and then you got people in their prime. You still got Io Sky that people are saying like, oh no, she might be the best wrestler on the planet right now. You still got Asuka and Kairi Sane.
Yes.
First of all, what they do in the ring is bad enough. You talking about what they're doing outside the ring, the gimmick where they're like teasing this breakup and teasing this whole thing with Asuka turning heel, and she always butts in because, and then
like white women,
bro, and then freaking Kairi Sane is always caught in the middle of it, and she's and I'm like, yo, this is funny. And then you got Rhea Ripley running around, and then of course you got the Julias, the Stephanie Vaqueras, and I'm like, bro, this is ridiculous. Like every level of female performer is like loading up in WWE now. So you got women from the past that are coming back to have, like I said, they're established names. You got to have those names to have. They're not like getting other championship runs, but they're working. Not to mention, you still got Natalia. She's going to other promotions. She's doing whatever the heck she wants to do. She's working indie. She's working global stuff. She's the general of
I'm good.
AAA.
He figured
Because
out how
they
to
let her
make it
do,
still
they
work.
let her do what she wants to do. Like in AAA, she's one gimmick, but on WWE Raw, she's something else. Like
and then GCW, she's somebody else.
Right in GCW,
She's an MMA fighter.
She's been taking like indie bookings, and I'm like, oh, so all the WWE approved places, they're allowing the Ty to go and work.
And
I'm like,
take
that
a step further, bro.
Mhm.
You brought up the Divas era. They're really just getting the opportunities that they never had before.
Bingo.
You know, when you really look at them, they all still look young for the most part. You know, you imagine, I wouldn't be surprised if you saw Eve Torres, or, you know, I saw something about Crystal Marshall training. I don't think she's going back to WWE. She just, you know. But,
Sure.
I mean, I still wouldn't be surprised. But what they're doing is, it's like, oh, there's the new respect for women's wrestling. Mind you, the ladies that's there are constantly giving us our flowers. People like a Chelsea Green is saying, no, there's room for that. People like a Tiffany Stratton saying, let's not make the term diva a dirty
Let's not shame it.
word.
Right. Yeah.
So now what they're doing is they're coming back, having these runs, because if they're going to commit to Evolution, which was the best show of the year, arguably.
I told you they was gonna steal the show that weekend out of all the shows.
Yeah, same. And if they're going to do that, they have to continue to build towards that.
That's
so
true.
This is exciting. So to see AJ, and it's always funny. What I love that you brought up talking about this with Adam, because it kind of like reminds me when like a legend would come back and I was younger and I would run to my Uncle Troy or my Uncle Mike and be like, tell me about this person. You know what I mean? Because time has gone by and it's like, wow, it's only been 10 years, but so much has happened in the business. So you look at AJ, you look at Nikki Bella, shoot, that's a story right there. So where they had to have a 3-minute match before, oh, now you mean to tell me we're going to get 10 to 15 minutes? Okay, cool. And then you just keep, so you can, and it's a good mix so that you can have women's wrestling being about the story, about what's going on in the drama, not just because they're women who wrestle.
Bingo.
Bingo.
And I think that's probably going to be the most fun part about it long term is because there's no limits on what you can do as far as the matchups. Right?
Right?
You can take Nikki Bella and have her beef with somebody that's saying, hey, look, first of all, Liv Morgan did it already before she got hurt. She's like, yo, check this out. This ain't your arrow no more. I run this show. You know what I mean? I run this now. This is that was about to be one of the biggest feuds. Like a feud with Nikki Bella for Liv Morgan would have been huge for her career, because that's a Hall of Famer she's in the ring with. You know what I mean? Like if Liv Morgan took down Nikki Bella, oh my god, like it wouldn't have been no slack off Nikki Bella's, because she's already established. Like she's untouchable at this point. Her losing Liv Morgan wasn't gonna hurt, especially when she was hot. And I'm like, oh man, I felt so bad for Liv Morgan. I'm like, bro, she needed that. That was a big time matchup. You know what I mean? Because the world knows Nikki Bella, that's that crossover appeal, and Liv Morgan was just on a tear. Like her rise, her starter was just going through the freaking roof. You know what I mean? So it's like, go ahead.
And here's something else to think about. And I know we probably don't really realize it, but let's take a Drew McIntyre, right?
Mhm.
He was in WWE. It wasn't working out. He had to go reinvent himself, and we watched him reinvent himself and come back home. These divas didn't have that opportunity to go reinvent themselves or go do
Facts.
something else.
Mhm.
If they did, you look at somebody like a Gail Kim who went to TNA, came back to WWE and said, "Nope, this still does not work for me. I'm gonna go back over there."
Yeah. Which
And
is
there
a
wasn't
shame.
a lot of opportunity for exactly the women of this era. And I know Diva has a negative connotation, but they did the best they could, and a lot of them might have that bad taste in their mouth or their bad sensation that, you know what, I had to step away from something because it didn't love me the way I loved it.
There you
But
go.
now they're getting the opportunity to try to come back. And like, for instance, I'm sitting here waiting for somebody like a Layla, to come back. That what else could she have done? But she had to step away. You had all these women that came back for these nostalgia pops during the Royal Rumble, but it was just for that moment and then it was over.
Yeah.
But now you got the resurgence of these women being able to say, I can always come back home. Because now this thing with Nikki Bella, I hope that they're teasing. Come on, Bree, come home too. So the Bellas can get that opportunity and the tag belts that they always wanted, because that belt wasn't around
There
when they
you
were
go.
there. So that way they can have, because guess
That
what?
would be huge.
If Brock Lesnar said tomorrow, give me the Intercontinental and a US title, they're gonna book it so he can have it.
Yep.
AJ Styles went on record saying, I wanted to be a Grand Slam champion. Vince found a way to give me the tag belt. Look what happened. So if they want these opportunities because it wasn't there and it makes sense for that, I'm okay with the Bellas versus the Iconics. Because if the
Mhm.
Iconics come back just to face them, even if it's for the TNA tag belt, they didn't have those type of opportunities when they were there.
Facts.
Allow them to have it because it's going to be good entertainment. And as much as I give the Bella Twins crap for, my personal feelings about them,
Sure.
that would be great for them because could they have done it if they would have stayed? Who knows? A lot of these women had to go away from the ring. Natalia, like when we really talking about, like she's the vet of the vet. She's literally like the John Cena, the Randy Orton, the Triple H, all in
Yep.
one. Because she
Facts.
stuck through how many women and brought in a new. She's there for now the third wave of women.
Yeah,
Remember, she
she's
was the
literally
one that was ushering in the same time as you had the Charlotte Flairs, the Naomi's, the
yep.
Becky Lynch, the Sasha. She was helping usher in those women. Because
She's
remember, they sent
raising a
her
whole
to
new group of
NXT.
women. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, they
Remember,
should.
she
Yeah,
went to
that was
NXT.
Charlotte and
And
Natalia was
Natalia.
the first
Right.
NXT takeover.
Yep. They shipped her there to help usher in those women. Then she kept coming back. So that's why if Natalia shows up anywhere, it's like, okay, yep,
Yep.
I want to follow her because
Bingo.
she didn't leave while the other ones left. Like think about it, Caitlyn. Caitlyn
Yep.
left because it was nothing else
She had
for
no
her.
choice. Yeah.
You know
And
what
I
I
feel
mean?
like
So it's like,
AJ Lee was in the same boat, if you ask me. You know what I mean? Like it was a
mhm,
ceiling. Like it was only so much she can do. Like even a Ronda Rousey. Like it was
yes,
only, and she was
Beth
one of the more
Phoenix.
successful ones. Beth Phoenix is another
Look,
one. Alicia Fox.
hmm
Like
and
I
think about
remember.
it. If Beth would have
Mhm.
been able to stick around, her and Natalia could have still been. Look at Tamina. She's trying to stick it out, but it was nothing. It
She
was
was already.
nothing there for her.
She was older. Like she wasn't getting any younger. Like she was already
But
in her
still,
40s.
that was the. Oh no, you're this age, you're done. Now you got women that you didn't know. Oh, they're 40. Okay, they still going. Like look at Mickey James.
Yep.
She was still. She's. She had to leave because of it. Look what she did when she left again.
Yeah.
She went and said, "Nope, I can have a whole nother career." But who's to say she won't come back and help Nick Aldis the next time some woman get in his face?
There you go. And she was the first one to come out as the TNA Knockouts champion at the Rumble.
Yep.
Yeah, she was the first one to be
Mhm.
acknowledged. That man, I'm telling you, man. It's insane to think about where how far the women's division of wrestling is. I don't do that women's wrestling because there's no such thing as women's wrestling to me. It's
It's
just
wrestling, baby.
just the women are involved in the wrestling. You know what I mean? Like they're superstars, and it's just
But
like
see,
man.
so is
to-
it mean or is it not the same to call it the division? Because like when
no,
I
no,
say
'cause
the division, I mean like
no, that's right. Because that's what it is, though. It's a division, but like women's wrestling means like, because it's almost comes off like, oh, this is women's wrestling, this is men's wrestling, this is women's wrestling. It's like, no, it's nothing different. We're here to watch
it's
wrestling. There's a men's division and there's a women's division. You know what I mean? And like, if we're looking at the product now, that shows that you don't have to be just a woman in the you're a star when you're involved in main storylines. Like the show is built around who you are, right? And AJ Lee
mhm.
was one of those people. Think about her gimmick. The majority of her gimmicks that we remember, what to me when she came hottest, had nothing to do with her feuds as far as Divas Championship matches. It was the
Right.
crazy chicks thing. It was she became obsessed with Daniel Bryan. She became obsessed with CM Punk. She became obsessed with Kane. And it was like when you can take a woman, especially during that era, and she's involved in main event conversations. Like back in the day, it was Stephanie McMahon. She was involved in main event conversations. Sable and Mark Merrill. That wasn't Sable's first craziest feud was with her ex-husband. And then we brought in Jacqueline to have a dance partner with. You know what I mean? Like there was no division. You know what I mean? They were
Tari Reynolds,
Terry Reynolds involved with Goldust, involved with Pretty
Lita.
Mean Sisters, Lita,
Look
same
what she
thing. Team
started.
Extreme, China.
Serios.
Like you kidding me? Like this is what I'm saying. Like this is when the women are stars on the show, not just okay, cool. This lady matches time. Like this isn't the 40s and 50s where it's like okay, cool. Let's put the lady wrestlers on to warm up the show. You know what I mean? We did the same thing back in the day with the micros. You know, with little people, it was called something different back then. It was a gimmick. It's like no, it's not a gimmick anymore. It's like they're 100% a part of the show. So
Heavy
to
Metal
all,
Mario is the best micro wrestler ever. Wouldn't you
whether you is this
agree?
true?
Or is he frozen? Yeah, Heavy Metal Mario.
I mean, he's awesome, but I don't know if I can say that. Max
You
Mini
will.
was kind of Max Mini was you know what I mean?
Where you
He
going?
was like that.
And he ain't Heavy Metal Mario.
and even to that degree, look at what Hornswoggle was able to do, right? Hornswoggle was was a character on the show. He wasn't part of the micros division, but and even most recently in AAA, when we saw the exchange between the micro wrestler
Oh, boss, say what you call it.
and Omos. I'm like, bro, but see, that's Lucha Libre though. Like they do stuff like that's because Lucha Libre always has a touch of telenovela, which is his Hispanic soap operas. You know what I mean? There's always a touch of that in the mix of it. So those dynamics make sense in those eras. So when you talk about the level,
Back to Spanish class.
I'm just saying, just when you look at the level of where WWE is putting the focus on the women as far as their productivity, it's the perfect time for people like AJ Lee and the Nikki Bellas goes, wait a minute, I want a piece of that. Like we didn't get a chance to do this when we were around. Like I'm still in good shape. So it would be no doubt in my mind that Beth Phoenix wouldn't be in the mix of it if her husband was still around. You know what I mean? Because she was at one point, before Judgment Day, an early version of it took them both out. So it's like, man, I'm so looking forward to AJ Lee and her husband taking on Seth Rollins. And it's almost like big bro, and big sis versus little bro and little sis. You know what I mean? Becky Lynch was looking up to AJ Lee in her spot. Seth Rollins looking up to CM Punk in their spot. And when both of them left, look at what these stars have become. So there's a dynamic to say, look how you guys had to leave in order for us to become mega stars, and now you guys are coming back to claim some sort of stake in this game. So the dynamic is already crazy enough, and we'll get into more of that next week as far as our Wrestlepalooza preview show and discuss how crazy and how the magnitude of what this means and all the stats that WWE is going to pull out to make a first good impression with ESPN, because they are definitely pulling out the stops for this one. But with that being said, I think we did it justice, gentlemen. Man, AJ Lee looks amazing. I can't wait to see what she looks like in the ring. I'm excited to see her and CM Punk team up. This is a different that we don't see married couples get in the ring with each other often. You know what I mean? And this is going to be really, really fun. But shout out to AJ Lee. Shout out to all the other women superstars that are looking to get themselves back in ring shape so they can make a comeback and have an impact on the product as well. And not just make an impact, but really fit into what's going on. I thought Nikki Bella was a one-off. No, she's really taking her role like, look, I'm a vet.
Full time, baby. Let's get
like,
it.
And I'm like, oh, so this is what we're doing. Like, it's not a big announcement. It's just like you show up one day, like, I'm here. I thought she was too. And I assumed that AJ would be too, but I'm like, the way she looks, I'm like, oh, the way the WWE schedule is and how accommodating they are. It's like, yo, we've got the show built. We don't need you on the road 300 days a year to make money. We've got it all figured out. Like I said, Cody Rhodes is not on TV. Tiffany Stratton not on TV. But yet my eyes were glued to SmackDown because a couple of Raw superstars showed up and showed out. So
everybody has a place.
Everybody has a place. That's the beauty of it. That's, to me, as much as Brian H says he's not he prefers HBK's booking over Triple H's. I understand why he does, but man, Triple H, if there's one thing he does well, because you could say certain things, we've talked about it, but his balance, like he knows how to balance out a goddamn show. Like Rusev showing up in NXT just makes sense. You know what I mean? Rusev having a match and now he's fighting. I'm like, yo, this is somebody that was kind of not important for a little bit, then became important and not important. Kind of up and down thing that Andrade had. Like there's this balance across the board that keeps me entertained enough, at least an hour to 2 hours for whatever show I'm watching, for me to go, oh shoot, I didn't realize that so-and-so was missing, because whatever you gave me was entertaining enough to get me through the show. So yeah. So with that being said, is there anything else anybody want to kind of dive into before we wrap this up? Because we're going home. We're going home.
Let's go home.
We're going home.
Children,
all right.
Let's go home.
Well, shout out to you, brother Hugh. Shout out to Brian H.
Quick question. When did she win? Yeah. When did she win the Intercontinental title?
It depends. It was easy to say before, but the way Triple H is doing things now, it's like, well, you mentioned it before. Well, this is a match or this is a feud that can continue to go on for as long as they want to. So it's like, okay, cool. We can save it for something big, or we can save it for a situation where we need a meaningful match, because it's like with a story like this, you don't need, as long as Becky Lynch has a title and she doesn't defend it, well, she's a weasel. That's what she does. Like you don't need to explain like, oh, well, she's a champion. She's held it for 90 days and didn't do anything. Right. Cause she's a heel. If I'm a heel too, I'm trying to avoid my defending my title too, so I can hold on to it. It just makes sense. And that's that balance that I'm talking about. Cause I'm like, bro, you can do this for as long as you want to, because in these fight forever situations, you can put it down, you can pick it back up whenever you choose. So it's like, all right, well, I think if it comes to a situation where they actually get into a personal feud, see, right now it's a couples thing, but if it's something that spills over, I mean, why the heck wouldn't Becky Lynch want to get in the ring with AJ Lee? I mean, you saw the respect that she gave her, because when she got in the ring, she didn't dominate it. She said, okay, all right, I got you. I went too far, but I can't look like a punk. And she like hesitant, but she knew what she had to do. And she was dealing with a character that's unhinged. She's like cringing, like, oh, now I got to swing on her, but I know this, I'm gonna probably pay for this. And if you don't believe me, she came out of SmackDown with that makeup on her face and said, look in my eye, you gave me a black eye. Right, because she's only insinuating that the person I'm getting in the ring with is dangerous.
Yep.
I'm done. They know what they're doing. It's just pure. The storytelling. I didn't think we'd get. It's not as great as the Attitude Era, but god dang it, this is as close as we're going to get, and it's really, really, really good. I'm not saying it's overly great, but goodness gracious, it's really, really, really good. And I'm telling you, it keeps me locked in every week. So AJ Lee, CM Punk, Becky Lynch, Seth Rollins, you guys have done an excellent job, and I'm looking forward to what we get next week. But like I said, with that being said, for those who are waiting and anxiously can't wait to have that conversation, you're in luck. You can follow us on all of our social media platforms at Wrestling Realm. Subscribe to Patreon, Twitch, and YouTube at The Wrestling Realm. You can follow Championship Culture on Instagram at Championship Culture _ every Tuesday, 8 p.m., youtube.com, Championship Culture. They are working on some things right now. We're keeping it under wraps, but trust me, go back and watch all of season 1, 2, 3, 4, all the bonus episodes, all the unboxings, all the times that brother guy has a Santa Claus hat, etc., etc. And with that being said, we are looking forward to the first WWE PLE on ESPN. But until next time, ladies and gentlemen, stay wrestling fans, all that good jazz. We out of here. Peace.
Houston, we have a problem.
For all exclusive shows and bonus material, subscribe to our Patreon channel at patreon.com/thewrestling_realm. You can watch all of our Wrestling Realm content anytime on youtube.com/thewrestling realm.